Hi guys, thanks for joining me for today's Still Scenes Getting Crafty virtual class. So if you're receiving this as the second series of the video, I hope that you are having grace with me. The first series disappeared off of YouTube. Who knows where it went? Please do not share this with anybody who's not ordered the class from me directly. This is a contract between you and I. We're friends like that, I hope. And I hope that you enjoy creating these fun cards and look for the bonus projects coming your way. Hi guys! Okay, so let's get started on our Still Scenes crafting class. If you've ordered this class, you would have received the stamp set and the dies. I placed all of my dies on a magnetic background. This is really just a vent cover or a large magnet that I have laying around the home that I use. I cut up into pieces and I put it on. This is just a great way to help not lose a die. The sticky part has a tendency to come apart. If you look up the vent covers, they're long, 18 inches by, I don't know, like 8 or 9. You can cut them and do them for this kind of thing as well. I don't cover the whole thing, not necessary anyway. This is a cling stamp set, so you should have received the stamp set and you would have received it all like so. What I do is I place it side by side. I undo the paper from the top of this, leaving it, pull the stamp out, remove the backing, and place it down, pulling it up, and then place it here. I never get rid of my back of my red rubber. I'm sure if you've taken my online classes, you hear me. I lose things on a regular basis. This is a surefire way to avoid that. I will be creating with you guys 4 cards today. If you're receiving this the second go around, our first videos were deleted for some reason off of YouTube. I have no idea where it went. So it's kind of scandalous, really. Apparently my content, I don't know. Like, how could my content be questionable? I don't know. It's crafting. So if you're receiving this, the only addition that I would recommend is you will need a bone folder. You will need a pair of paper snips. You will use an aqua painter, or you can use a wet paintbrush. It's really not necessary. The aqua painter is far superior in my opinion. We will incorporate, but it's not necessary, a stamparatus. We will also incorporate a silicone craft sheet. The liquid adhesive that we will use is our multi-purpose liquid adhesive, just like so. We will use and incorporate dimensional adhesive, as well as we will incorporate snail adhesive. That's simple, neat, affordable, inline adhesive. You can modify this as you deem fit that works with your life. I do recommend all of those things. Any modifications you wish to make, you can incorporate our mini glue dots. And let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you received the first version of this class, I have taken upon myself to give you guys a special bonus. So stay till the end. You will have received in your packet all that you need, and I'll go through that with you right now. And there will be a bonus class that's coming out in the new catalog. If you've ordered your classes from me before, you know you will be receiving your catalog any day now, probably about a week before Christmas is my theory. So keep an eye out in the catalogs. There'll be 2 that come together. It is the Occasions catalog, which is actually referred to now as the January through June mini catalog. And you will receive a celebration catalog that is good from January through the end of March. And everything inside is free with a minimum purchase. Now, let's go ahead and hop on creating. Okay guys, so the first card we're going to start with today is an unusual card. I really love it, but the unusual part is we're using a designer series paper called Pressed Petals. Pressed Petals has this gorgeous linen backed designer series paper. It's a specialty paper. It's thinner, it's strong, it's beautiful, and I love the note sheet portion. I did die cut all of the items that you will need, though you do own your own die cut, so have fun creating and mocking up something new. This paper here, we're going to use 2 trees. We'll use 1 gold tree and 1 wooden tree. All of this designer series papers, the wood, the musical note, and the linen is from the Pressed Petals designer series paper. That's 149,500. 149,500. And we're going to offset the layering on that. You might want to incorporate our mini dimensionals at this point as well. we are going to have some fun creating with a large variety. When you receive your projects from me, they're all specialty wrapped up, but you will find in almost every section there's an extra. There is all you need that is die cut inside. I'm not allowed to stamp or punch for you, but I can die cut. So everything is scored and ready to go. The extra is so in case you just decide to modify it with another image, you now own the dies and you can have fun doing so. So go ahead and pull out your cards. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you guys that paper has two sides. So when you're looking at a paper, I have scored it for you. The score line is the dimple. It's on the outside of your card. What you want to do is feel your card front so that you can feel the lip. And that is actually how I cut my cardstock as well. The dimple is on the inside of your card, and if you know me, I'm a little sassy. I do like to say you want to tuck those dimples inside. Kind of like the cellulite that I have to fight. But I know, sometimes my humor's not for everybody, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. We're going to use the bone folder. I was surprised because most people don't understand. A bone folder is, I have a tremor in my arm, so I can't use the same strength that I would with everything else. So simple machines are something I've worked with kids for a long time in teaching. If you hold your bone folder flat, you have lost all the power in your project. But if you hold it at a 45-degree angle, every inch off of the table is, I think, 500 pounds of pressure. So when you do that, you don't have to do as much. I also do this on the back of the card. You might see there's a little line or a shiny pressure mark, right? So I know it's kind of hard to videotape, but that way that's on the back of the card. Now, using the Mossy Meadow cardstock, I cut this to fit the full front of the card. So there you go. And we're going to adhere across the front this beautiful Designer Series paper. Now, if you look at the back, that's actually kind of fun and funky if you are a more natural girl. I'm all about textures, so it's kind of fun for me. This is my snail, simple, neat, affordable, inline adhesive. It's a permanent adhesive. And then we're just going to layer this over the middle. Sometimes I have to stand to see a better image of that, just so you know. And then I'm not going to adhesive that down yet, and I'm going to show you why. Using the Mossy Meadow ink pad, you can use any dark green, but really the Mossy Meadow, if you can coordinate your products to match entirely, that's the most ideal way to go. We're going to use the Season's Greeting stamp set from that, or Season's Greeting from the stamp set that you guys should have now. Is the Still Scenes stamp set. The Still Scenes stamp set and dies, I believe, are carrying over into the new catalog. So happy, happy day. This is one of my favorite collections in the holiday catalog, and I'm so glad you're joining me virtually for this class. Pat, 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 never dig in. First of all, you can exhaust your hands. And actually, this is probably from a recent class where people dug it in, and I don't encourage that at all. I always tell people to stamp as if you were touching a baby's foot. So go ahead and apply that there. When I purchase ink pads, I immediately purchase the re-inker. These are beautiful felt ink pads, and so, or foam ink pads. So you want to make sure that if it's going to dry out, you don't miss out on that. I do recommend some other tools you might want to own in your stamping repertoire. When I craft, I am a little messy, so I have a Simply Chamois. We sell this here. And what I'll do is, in between using a project, is I will go ahead and clean it off. Usually I have this as a fun thing for my kids to do, but when I'm in a class and people have put ink on my block or stamped too heavily, I want to make sure that the next person is getting a clean image to use. Right there, look at the difference, right? And there's little schmutz right there. We'll get rid of that. I also recommend, we won't need it on this project, I don't believe, but is your Take a Pick tool. It's $10. It's all of these great tools, and they're double-sided, so they have great tips and that kind of thing. Now we're going to go ahead, and now that we've stamped it, should we have messed that up, we wouldn't have had to rip this off. But now that we did an okay job, we're going to place this on with our snail adhesive. And I placed my finger on the adhesive. This gives me the ability to place it and move it without dropping it. Do you remember I have that little tremor? Well, I drop things. So I've gone ahead and given it a nice rub. And then what I'll do is when I'm done with the cards, every card I make, I flip it and I use the bone folder and I do a nice back impression. That takes your adhesive, which may have openings, and makes it have a solid resolution or solid adhering to that image. Then we're going to take the beautiful trees. We're going to use 2 of them. When you're cutting designer series paper, you can die cut 2 at a time usually, especially even with our thin lids. It's fabulous. Now I'm gonna place one of them down. Look at the back, it's kind of fun and funky. Look at those patterns, I dig it. I'm all about unusual, but for me, I'm a girl that digs worship and singing, especially holiday carols. I did that with my grandparents. I miss them dearly. So I'm quick to use musical notes. That's just who I am. Now we're going to use the mini glue dots. You have 2 methods of doing it. What I do is I pick up the mini glue dot and I will place it, and then I remove the backing. Placing it here, the slick background will help hold it while I'm crafting. I don't like miscellaneous little papers and bits and baubles floating around. It could be that I'm a little ADHD. It also could be that it's just a little bit messier, and I'm already a messy crafter as it is. And then you're gonna offset that. So I did set this one flat on the designer series paper and offset it to the side. And when we place that down, I'm going to fill it so that it looks like a long-standing forest. Gives you a great dimension and interest to your card. You can jazz this up with some Wink of Stella. I don't see why not. I love the contrast of the nature and the natural looking designs with that kind of shimmer. But who doesn't love a good shimmer, right? I know. Then we're gonna take our little reindeer here, and we're gonna offset it to create that optical illusion. I like a good framed out reindeer. So using the multi-purpose liquid adhesive, when I store it standing upright. Our retreats, my people who attend, usually get a really fun holder for cardstock or that kind of thing. And the most recent retreat we did up in Big Bear Lake, California is a holder like so. It holds all my adhesive, including my snail, and it holds my multi-purpose liquid adhesive standing up. That's just a great way for me to not lose things. I mean, hello. I can easily do that, just saying. Okay. Then we're gonna place it where it's off just a smidge. You wanna be consistent in where you're off. You don't want to really have shadows peeking, but you do want the foil to peek through. Just like that. I love it. And this is why we use a silicone sheet. That would have been all over my surface and that would drive me absolutely bonkers. So I have like a workshop, napkins nearby. You can just wipe that off now. It's just a friendly little idea. I don't like a real messy workstation. I'm already messy as it is. I think any crafter really is. Well, maybe you're not. I know I am. Make sure you let me know how your projects came out. I would love to see a picture. And the bonus project that's included, I am including, will have no stamping, but it will incorporate some of the newest designer series paper just to whet your appetite. Don't miss out on our product share for our designer series paper, or consider joining the Getting Crafty family where, isn't this fun? Oh, and then I offset it here so that you get this texture that's going on, where you get the discount on all of your stamping, and all of my classes are relatively free for you. It's really great. And then you get a discount on all retreats. So here is our beautiful reindeer card. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, absolutely gorgeous. Now you have multiples of these in your packet. Your packet will look like so. One envelope will hold a whole project for you. So this is our reindeer card. Let's move on to the second card. The second card is where I've already used the Softly Falling embossing folder. And I have embossed your piece of Whisper White cardstock right here. This is regular Whisper White cardstock. In order to create this look, I die cut first the dome, then I embossed it. If you were to do it the other, your embossing will be flattened. You do have extra of the glimmer paper that is in there, that's sparkling diamonds. Oh, I just love this paper. And this is using that great holiday paper. Oh my goodness, I think it's, let me just confirm what it's called because I'm horrendous at this kind of thing. I do know all my children's name. That's the miracle on its own. Let It Snow Specialty Designer Series paper. That's 150393. 150393. And this is sparkly and gorgeous and lush and textured, but we're going to use the non-sparkle side. I sent the first packets out to everybody, and I did have a handful who said they did not receive it. Now, I took it directly to the post. Since some of the people did not receive it, and they've notified me, your new packet will be sent priority mail, and you should receive it momentarily. So as soon as you receive it, make sure you let me know. And if you receive the second packet, bonus, but can you let me know when it comes in? That'd be great. Now we're going to set aside the reindeer, and we're going to make these little cute and sweet polar bears. I love the touch of glimmer here. Okie dokie artichoke. Let's get started. We're going to take out one of each here just to get the ball rolling. So here's our thick Whisper white cardstock, scored at 4 1/4, cut at 5 1/2 for your traditional card front. You will have inside, let me just pull this out so you can see it. You'll have the mama bear, the baby bear. You'll have this really fun designer series paper, Let It Snow. And if you like the back, that would be fun too. It's just not traditional. And then you'll have a die cut sparkling base, and you should have a Whisper white regular base. There's probably extras in each of your packet. Have fun creating them and using your extra samples inside just to have fun. Why not? And one of the embossed pieces right like so. Okie dokie. I'm going to tuck the rest of this away for you guys. And in your packet, you should have one completed card as well as the products to make more. So please go ahead and make your own cards. I want to see what you create. And if you make any modifications, I love that too. So I'm going to put the silicone sheet away because we're not going to need it on this card right now. We're going to take that dimple side on the outside and we're going to fold it. I meet up the corners and I pinch. I do have to warn you, the multi-purpose liquid adhesive is gooey. I got it on my hands a little bit earlier. I hate that. And I have washed it off. I actually have lemon oil that I will sometimes use on my fingers if there's some adhesive that's stuck. So that's kind of fun. You can do that, and then make sure you wash it afterwards because it is an aesthetic oil. I just didn't get a chance to do that yet. Okay, so we have our card base. This is the thick Whisper white cardstock. We're going to take this here, and my daughter actually liked the idea of doing it so the snow was backwards. That's called debossing, but we're going to use the embossed image. So that's the raised image here. I am not the boss of your card. Have fun. Then we're going to take our traditional, our standard Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're going to place them all around, but don't get too close to the edge. I then have for you guys your square 3x3 Let It Snow designer series paper, and you want to balance that there. And then I will do this. I come from behind so I can see right where I want it. And look at those really cute little snowflakes. I love the little pop of Real Red there, or Poppy Parade. I can't remember which is in that color. Let me see. It is Real Red, I believe. But it could be Poppy Parade. I'd have to look. It's on the next page. I'm not going to do that. Okie dokie. So what we're going to do is we're going to assemble. We will use the silicone sheet. I fibbed. Sorry. And we will place this just like so. I get Sugar's hair on everything. Do you guys get, it's like weird because she wasn't on my stamping table today. She's like a cat. It's crazy. Then we're going to take our multi-purpose. Now this is the deal. I like to put a dot and kind of drag that. I don't leave it dimensional in the least. I look for the thickest part of my adhesiving part, and I kind of just spread it thin. Just like that. And pull that. It's called pulling adhesive, stretching adhesive. Maybe I made those terms up. We don't know. And my stepdaughters talk about that all the time, that I make up sayings, I make up things, but I'm like, well, it sounds official. She says, you say it with authority, so of course it sounds like it's something you did. And this is a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I cut. This is the regular Whisper White cardstock. The card base is thicker. We're gonna adhere the two together. And if you have the silicone sheet, you can lay it across the front of this if you want as well. Just like so. I like to do these in bits. So I will do all this part here and then assemble the rest of it and then put it all together at the very end. And I do lots of crafting with napkins on the side. I don't like baby wipes because they have oils and chemicals that can be detrimental to your crafting surface. And you don't want that. You don't want it to deteriorate any part of your crafting. The silicone sheet will allow it to dry if you leave it on, but I would recommend you wiping it because if you're going to use it anytime soon, it takes time for that to actually get dry. That's one of the benefits to it, really. So then we're here. We want to make sure the card opens up because I've done that before. Then we're going to take our snail adhesive. We're going to place this across the back. We're going to take the dimensional adhesives, just like so. 1, 2, 3. And by placing the adhesive of the dimensional across and extending it, you're going to give support to the front of your card. And then we're going to place it across the card front. Now, this piece here with the softly falling embossing is 4 inches by 5 1/4, which gives us this white on white elegant background. Then we're going to take the multi-purpose, or the base. We're going to use snail or the multi-purpose adhesive you choose. I don't really care. And we're going to place that there. I like to cover the lip, so I like to go up ever so slightly so it hides that. And then taking our little teddy bears, you can have a choice of either laying it flat, which gives you more dimension. I'm going to use mini dimensional adhesives for them. So I'll put 1, 2. Now, we're going to place the mama bear down. And then we're going to do the same with a little baby bear. It's like the story of the Goldilocks, which I totally think the bears were shafted in Goldilocks. I'm just saying. I'm gonna move it before it heaves all the way down. Look at that. How sweet is that? Now, if you receive this die cut, you might have a little bit of schmutz in it. Just wipe it off. It's fine. There you go. You can use the Coastal Cabana ink pad and stamp on the inside. Since we cleaned the Season's Greetings, I'm going to place that on the inside of this card, just like so. Boom. I like the non-traditional color aspect of this. What a bright and festive way to celebrate the holidays and capture some of that bright contrast with snow and the prettiness of it all. And so here is your sweet little card right there. Alrighty, here is our Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper. We're going to do this as an easel card. So you will be using a partial of a Night of Navy card front, which means I've cut this to traditional measurements, but I cut off a portion of the card. I actually use that part to create the base of this, etc. So don't delete it. Use it for something fun. You can die cut words out of it. You can have a lot of fun. I rarely throw a chunk of paper like that away. And also, you will be receiving a variety of Designer Series papers with the Feels Like Frost. I didn't have enough for everybody to have the exact same one. We had a large order of this online class. So the Getting Crafty virtual class will have something very similar. I actually think I have a different one to do in the demo. This one here, I trimmed this down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm going to show you the trick to putting this together. This is the trick. I am putting a piece of cardstock that's thick Whisper White, scored at 5 1/2, cut at 4 1/4, and it will be tucked in backwards. So that, with my dyslexic brain, goes system failure every single time. So you want to be careful when you're putting it together and make it nice and snug. Don't destroy, you will have a variety of strips that were cut off from the front of your card front that you can place on the inside with dimensional adhesive to create that lip. Now it will look like so. So it can stand. If you're giving this to a person, they can put a tea light on the inside, etc. The only addition you might want to use will be either our Daffodil Delight Stampin' Right marker. One of the blends, you can use a bright yellow blends, or you can use a permanent marker that's in yellow, anything like that. I have horrible news. While we were doing this, my daughter, this piece of this die disappeared while she was die cutting. It literally popped off of the die cutting machine, landed on the floor, and we've never found it since. So I modified it for this video tutorial. The first tutorial, if you receive it, had this. The second tutorial does not. Sorry to say. This is the silver foil right there. Now let's go ahead and create this really fun little card. I'm going to tuck it in so you can see it while we're creating. So using that card front, I'm going to tell you, you have in your package extras. So you may have an extra of this foil here, this image here, or whatever image that I die cut out, as well as the Night of Navy. So I would recommend you doing something with that. It's really fun. You can take one of the die cuts that you've already done, place it over the front and you're set. You can do the bears. You can have a lot of fun with that. You probably have extras in your kit, and you can even do an eclipse technique just like that. It's kind of fun. Place an image on the front and you can have fun. It's just a suggestion. I'm not the boss of you. So if you don't want your extras, go ahead and toss them. I don't care. You will have extra foil that was placed in your kit. Those of you who received the first kit will have gotten the die cut with the church on it and the steeple. You will also have extra of the Night of Navy that you can utilize as you deem fit. Okie dokie. So I'm going to show you the trick to this here. This here is the card front. So I took and did a whole piece of card of the Night of Navy, scoring it at 5.5, cutting it 4 1/4. I then cut off and left a 1-inch border across the back. I'm going to fold and bone that from behind. Awesome. Then this here is not actually adhesive. It is in one particular corner, but I left it here. That way when I die cut it, the two pieces will be together, but I can still add something to the middle. And the something we're gonna add is our vellum cardstock. Stampin' Up! Has this great vellum cardstock. And you might have this in a variety of sizes. It will all work, so it doesn't really matter, but it's kind of fun to know. You will then also incorporate your thick Whisper White cardstock. You will have a variety of strips that go on the inside of it if you wish. You do not have to. Again, I'm not the boss of you. And you should have some die cut image, whether it was the steeple or it's this building here. I don't really know what this building is supposed to be honest. But I think if you light it up, it'll have the same kind of vibe as our church. So that's kind of my gig for that. Now let's go ahead. And when you receive this, this should be partially adhesive. Just be kind of careful with that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull this back, and using the snail adhesive, I'm going to go around close to the Night of Navy die cut. You can place your silicone sheet underneath so that you're protecting your work surface. I craft religiously with the silicone sheet right here. And more is more. Like, you want more adhesive to secure this in really well. And then place this across the front so that it covers. Before I push it down, I want to make sure that it's covered the whole image, just like so. Then I will go in, add more adhesive. Ta-da! Not too shabby. Placing the silicone sheet away for just a sec. Then we're going to place this building across the front of your, actually, we're not. I didn't lie to you so much as didn't tell you the full truth. I sound like my children. I didn't tell you about it because then I'd have to admit I didn't do something right. No, not kidding. Okay, so we're going to take the multi-purpose liquid adhesive again, and we're going to drag that across the front of this here. Now, I am not removing all the little bitty chads. I kind of like a little bit of extra. And so some of your images will be fully die cut. You might want to leave in the little extra, like, embossed bits and pieces. Again, we're going to place a little dot and we're going to drag it. somebody asked me for a one-on-one tutorial. I think it was Julie. So here you go. This is the best way to get one-on-one tutorials with me that you can play over and over again. I am the world's worst procrastinator, usually because I'm on a tight budget. So I haven't done any of my Christmas shopping yet, but I did get our Christmas pictures in and I'm over the moon. So in your new packet, since most of you will be receiving a secondary packet, well, at least half of you will, you guys will receive our Christmas card as well. I hope you enjoy just a little bit of my family being sent to you. Snow globes are very important to me. I love them. We have them that are kind of older. And then we're going to place this across the front again of the card and place that up here. Now this is a trick I do also with the silicone sheet. I will place that here and I will run my fingers across the front, and the silicone sheet has a sense of weight to it, so it actually hold this down while it's drying. It's kind of good to know, right? Then I'm going to take the building. Now you have the church in your still scenes dies, so you can re-die cut the silver piece I put in there for you. I'm so sorry if you are receiving yours and you have this building instead. I think it's still very, very pretty. So then I'm going to take this image just like so. I'm going to turn it around. Then I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to go just like this to really color in. You can do the same on the church. Okay, so anything that has an opening, you can do this so that when you place it on the front of the card, you should be able to see a glowing light come straight through the card. But this gets even better. So say you have this and you're going to use the die cuts I sent ahead. You can take the same marker and kind of go around it. I like to say, I like it that churches kind of glow when you're doing it. You can get creative with this. You can have lots of fun. I wouldn't go too crazy. I mean, like, less is almost always more when it comes to crafting. Then, placing this to the side, we're going to take where the dimples on the the valley's on the outside, dimples on the inside, we're going to fold. And I'm always looking to see if it's slightly off. Sometimes it's off, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I'm pretty good. Sometimes I'm like, I'm off by like a millimeter. And then use this here. You don't have to push really hard. I just had a little frustrating situation that I had to pause for, and so I was taking my anger out right now on that. Okay, so look for the side that you just scored, and I'm going to put that on the outside, so that will go like so. And what we're going to do is, using our snail adhesive, place a nice double line on the back of this here. Don't be afraid of adhesive. If you want it even stronger, I would recommend using a very fine pass of the multi-purpose liquid glue with this side here. It's kind of smears it. This is a much stronger adhesive than snail. It just takes forever to dry. And I'm a very impatient person. So I'm going to place this here. And before I push this down, I'm going to look across the front to make sure I am straight. Then I will take this and push it across the back, like so. And then I'm going to use the edge of the bone folder to really make sure that adhesive is secure. Now this will mail flat. Pretty awesome, right? So what I'll do is I'll open it here. You can stamp the inside should you wish. Say we're going to use the Night of Navy and you want to use one of the greetings that comes with this. I might as well just use the Season's Greetings really quick because it's right here. The other's right here too, let me see, but it's on my Stamparatus because I was just going to kind of demo what I did with that. But you can play with the Stamparatus any way you want. So let's go ahead, and I use the Simply Chamois just to clean that. Place the Season's Greetings in here. I'm actually going to place it on this piece right here because why not? Boop. Just like so. I love that so much. This designer series paper is my favorite. I think I'm going to even buy more before the holiday season is over. I usually send a couple hundred Christmas cards between customers, and then I go into my family and friends. So, and each one gets a handmade Christmas card because I love to do that. And don't be shy with your dimensional adhesive. You receive 100 per sheet, and there's 3 sheets per packet. So really, with the regular dimensionals, you get a ton. Now I'm gonna place this in here, just like so. I want room to write, but when we close it up, it's gonna look just like this. And then say you have a tea light and you're gonna be giving this away, go ahead and wow somebody. You can place this, I'm gonna turn off the light so you can see how it really glows just like so. See if I can do it from the angle that I'm at. And you can see like that, where the light really does pick it up. Now, if I were to give a tray of cookies, I totally would put this in the center of the tray of cookies as I'm coming in, because what better way to wow them than with a beautiful handmade card? Of course, do not mail anything that could be like that unless you want to put it in a box or something like that. So if you have yours, you have extra silver foil inside of your packet, but you can do that, or I've included this silver foil building here. And I'm gonna turn off my tea light. Let's go ahead and create. And you will have a variety of the designer series paper. So I don't know which packet you will receive, but they all look pretty alike. And they're designed to work with the Night of Navy, so it works really well. And then you get that immediate contrast with the white back here. Just like that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Boop. I love things like that. It's an extra wow. Now we have our last card of the day. I'm gonna put my lights back on. And we're gonna create with this really fun little card right here, which will include some watercoloring. So let me push that off to the side. This is on a thick Whisper White cardstock base, and it's going to be using regular white as well as the thick white. And we're gonna film that right now. Okie dokie. So let's go ahead and create this really sweet card. I like that it's white on white with a very classic and elegant look. We're going to use the die cut image here. We will stamp with these 2 images on one stamparatus. We're going to use our soft suede, and then here we will use the balmy blue, and then we will color it in with the soft suede and the cherry cobbler ink pads. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this to the side. We're gonna take the thick Whisper White cardstock. Always, 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 if you can, use a thick cardstock for your base of your card. It just adds a much more refined look to your project. It's worth a little bit more money to have a better card. And did you know the average card sits on your shelf or your friend's shelves for 3 years? 3 years, because they get so few of them. Shut the front door, people. It's crazy to me. It's your job to fix that, right? Okay, so we're gonna use snail, and you can use dimensional between the 2. I am not judgy on that. Place the cherry cobbler cardstock, which is at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then we have a cardstock topper, which will be in your packet, which is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Perfect adhering layers. I like that a lot. As that, what was that line in that movie? I like it a lot. Okie dokie. So we're gonna set this aside. I'm gonna move this just so you can see it from right here. Now I have die cut this image for you right here. And you can actually do it one of 2 ways. You have a piece of Whisper White cardstock in your packet. You can stamp this tree house ensemble multiple times and then die cut it. I was teaching this in an in-person class as well as online, and so I'm going to show you how I used my stamparatus for this. So we're going to start with this piece of stamparatus right here. And I drew a template where I wanted everything to go. So I start laying stuff out. How I do a stamparatus is this. I will often place the cardstock that I'm going to use on the card front and start laying my pieces down. So I knew these 2 would be in the soft suede ink pad. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp these 2. Go ahead and place that. Give it a good nudge right there. Nice and dark. This stamp here is one of my favorite. It looks so intricate and beautiful with no effort at all. Now this here people dug ink pads into, when you're using a Stamparatus, it's just, they have a tendency to do that. You could take your chamois in between and blot it. Same with this over here if you wanted to. Right? Chamois doesn't have to stay in a clear case. I just store mine in a simple clear case, so I don't get it more messy than it needs to be on my counter. Then, very lightly, with the Balmy Blue ink pad, I did remove this piece of the red rubber. I went in with my snips and cut that out. And I'm going to lightly pat it. Just pat it. Light, light, light. And then, when I had this here, I actually placed the stamp where I wanted it and then put my Stamparatus on it. That's how I do this. Boop. Looky there. So cute. And I love the little drawn in lines to give that additional roundness to it. Gonna move this to the side. Now, you can buy extra sheets of, or extra of these plates right here, and they do move. I love my Stamparatus. If you've taken my other online classes, you know I live by my Stamparatus. So what we're going to do, so I'm gonna move this over just because I don't like to have the distraction. We're gonna use our Stays On ink pad. Now, this smells like almonds. It's one of my favorite ink pads to use if you are watercoloring. Otherwise, I traditionally use Memento or Stays On. It's not a matter of which. I've die cut out of the middle a piece that will match this. And if I'm gonna be stamping multiples, I have a tendency to do this, especially in an in-person class setting. So then I take my Stays On and I have to smell because it smells like almonds. And since the car accident, I can't eat any nuts or coconut. And so then we're gonna take and place this here. And yes, the magnets are the earth magnets that come here. Just make sure you keep them apart while you're using it. The nice thing with the Stamparatus is if you find that you wobble when you stamp, because I have a tendency to tremor, this will help prevent that. And you have a perfectly stamped little house. I can do this for, say, 100 cards if I wanted to. Now, I did not need to have 2 Stamparatuses to do this, but I like to do them in an assembly line when I'm doing the holiday cards for myself, as well as teaching them in person. That's why I own a couple of them. I think everybody should, but that's just me. So here, we're going to take our soft suede ink pad. And you can see I've already squeezed the ink pad, so I just close it up. I grab the middle and I give it a good squeeze. Just like so. Then we're gonna use our aqua painter. And aqua painters come in 2 packs. I wanna make sure it's almost dry. So remember, I keep like funky stuff around my table just so I can kind of blot and wipe and that kind of thing. I'm a mom. I'm always cleaning up after something. And then we're just gonna color in here this tree. I like it. Don't go crazy. It's supposed to be a bare tree. Here in California, we've gotten some rain lately. Well, praise the Lord, because we're under fire watch still. The week before the rains hit, we had fires about an hour from us in Santa Barbara. So that's I lived in Santa Barbara County for a majority of my life. So it's near and dear to me because I have friends that still live there and I go up there all the time. And my aunt lives in Atascadero, that kind of thing. So go in and highlight the trees. This is not going to be one of those things that people are going to like ooh and ah crazy over or whatever. So don't worry about that. Then, let me see. I think I'm going to do the door in brown and then maybe the walk. Boop, 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 boop. Right there. Now this is supposed to be a snowy front. You don't have to. You can make it brown or green if you live here in California or somewhere like Florida where you won't be getting a lot of snow. And then we're gonna use our cherry cobbler because I want to live in a red brick house. I know that sounds silly to you, but whenever I go visit my sister, she lives in Utah, or my cousins, they live in Indiana. Follow the line of your image, by the way. So here, I'm gonna go in and kind of go up to the edges and then like fill it in. Watch out for the windows. These little coloring things will look different when you do that. But I'm always in awe because I've been California born and bred that I can see these beautiful brick houses and buildings. And my sister's like, everything's brick. It's fine. It's better in the weather. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to live in a red brick house. Silly, I know. What color house do you live in? Well, make sure you take a second to let me know a little bit more about you. I love that. Sometimes when you guys send me emails, if you've done my classes before, you know, I have been known to design cards that kind of circle around your life. The beautiful cardinal, we don't have cardinals here in California. So I did the cardinal for some of the girls when they wanted to do an online class, and I designed for them. So I did some fun research, and that was fun. I like cardinals, especially in the snow. That bright red is fabulous. We do have some J's, but not as much as my sister does. My niece always complains because the J's, or there's one of them that starts with an M. I can't remember the name of it. It might be, I don't think it's a macaw or something, but it took a food out of her hand while she was eating. I was like, it did a what? Because California, they don't do that. Though the hawks and the falcons do take your small animals if you're not careful. Okay, sweet little addition. Very simple card. You don't have to go crazy. This is fun because it says, may the timeless message of Christmas fill your heart and home with joy today and always. Remember, I'm giving this to you guys as a suggestion. You do not have to create exactly like I do. I have featured people when they have made fun alternates to my cards. I love that. So make sure you take time to do the same. Oh, I noticed that you could totally color in the green tree right there, but I'm not going to. We're okay. I could throw another ink pad if I wanted to in there. I really want to keep this nice and simple. Don't be afraid of our dimensionals. They balance out your card, your little embellishments. Just like so. Now here I have it on dimensionals. Everything else is flat. And so that makes it easy. I did notice I smudged because I put my wet watercolored image down on my Whisper White cardstock. So right there. So let's take a look. I have a little tool that I got. It's a little eraser, it's made out of sand. And I just go in and I'll erase that out. It just takes off the top layer of the cardstock. Be careful not to damage it too much. This is probably adhesive I just had on my workstation, or the Stamparatus adhesive right there. And I do not blow it on my surface because my surface has to remain relatively clean. Be careful when using these little erasers because Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell it, but it will sand straight through your project if you're not careful, right? But there you go. A sweet little card with a pretty blue dome. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now we're gonna go ahead and create from the new catalog. I have two really fun little projects here for you that will have you bonus. So let's go ahead and create them right now. Okay, my lovelies, so you're gonna be getting really soon the January through June mini catalog and the celebration catalog. Inside, you're going to have a fun sneak peek of two cards, but I'm going to give you the insider scoop. Are you ready? Yes. So I am partnering up with a leader from across the pond down in one of the top demonstrators in Australia, and I will be doing online classes together. So you will be receiving the option of taking a class with the two of us instead of just myself. Yes, we're going to be offering this once a month class that will also be incorporating to a suite, and you do not want to miss out. We will have announcements in about a week for our next class, which will be Valentine's based, to be available through the month of January. Speaking of which, we're going to incorporate some of the new papers. Now, this is a designer series paper right here that's from the Celebration catalog. This is available. It's only available with a free purchase. It's called Lily Impressions Designer Series paper. Tons of color. The imagery in here is freaking magnificent. Yes, it is. Full of color, and you know me, I love my color. I love the abstract art. I was just at the Getty with my children, and this has me gaga. Like these colors, the gorgeous double-sided look. Oh my goodness, so, so happy. So this is a reason you're also going to want to use your silicone sheet. We're going to start with the Flirty Flamingo cardstock base. Just like scored at 4 1/4, cut at 5 1/2, bone fold that, and then flip it over. We're gonna layer that with lovely lipstick. And if you know me, I do not like pink. I know you're laughing like, Jamie, come on, really? But yep, we're going to use it. Then we're gonna use this gorgeous sheet of this Lily Pad, Lily Impressions Designer Series paper on the card front. Now, because this is not included with any stamp set, and I can't stamp anything sending it to you, that's the rule, I'm going to send you just the regular cardstock. And Designer Series paper as a sampler, so you can play with this before it comes out. Look at that. Once you put that together, how vibrant is that? I know you're laughing. Jamie doesn't like pink, but Jamie loves this card. And I have to say, it really did win my heart over. Now, this is using our silver metallic edged ribbon, and we're going to use our lovely lipstick Stampin' Right marker. Oop, 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 sorry. I'm grabbing it, maybe. Now we're going to take our Stampin' Right marker in the lovely lipstick, and we're going to color in this beautiful ribbon. So I might actually measure it first, just because I don't want to color more than I need to. So go ahead and give a little extra. Always, always, always go a little extra when you're doing your ribbon. And I'll be sending these out, so I'll probably just measure this to cut several pieces to you guys. Once you create, if you alternate this, please let me know. I really love to see what you do. Now, this is one of the reasons why I use my silicone sheet. Makes me so happy. We're gonna change the color of this ribbon. So just go ahead and paint. Paint, paint. You can color the whole thing. Look how gorgeous this satiny ribbon is. Paint, paint, paint. You can use this with our reinkers. I like that it can have like a streaky look because look at this gorgeous Designer Series paper. Has that streaky, impressionistic background. My son did a whole study on the Impressionists with his high school. You know, we homeschool, so it's his high school curriculum that we're doing. And poor guy has to do British Lit this year, and he hates it. I'm not a British Lit fan either. Okie dokie. Just color it in. Look how lush. But wait, there's more. Always, right? Take just your extra napkin and rub. So I should have done this before you received it, just so that the silver is a little bit shinier. Just like so. It also will spread your ribbon. This might remind you of the ribbon we had last year. It's so beautiful. I believe that was Rich Razzleberry. Now, taking this here, I'm going to turn the cardstock over, put snail adhesive on the two sides, place this down. Look at how shiny that is, you guys. So freaking gorgeous. Just place it down, go and fold over. This is a very simple thinking of you style card. I want this to stand strong. And you might get fingers that are inky. I know, you're laughing at me. I hate that. No, I'm not gonna go and wash my hands right now. I was the kind of kid who played in the mud, no problems. But you get ink on my fingers and I'm like, So you should have this. You will not have a completed one in your kit because I'm making these for everybody who's getting their second packet sent out. And if you already have your first packet, this will be sent to you separately immediately the same time I send theirs for priority mail. This is a simple card, but so dynamic and beautiful. You can easily apply a greeting on the front of this. You can die cut something in silver to really accent it. And it's awful pink, but it's awfully pretty. I hope it inspires you. Now we're gonna create a really cute little Valentine's card. You want to grab this card. I'm gonna be partnering up with my friend Pam. And we've been friends for years and I love my Pam. So get ready. Now we're gonna start with the beautiful Valentine's paper called From My Heart Designer Series paper. Now, can I say how lush is this? Oh my goat. I love it so freaking much. Again, I am not a pink girl. I'm not. But this is going to be very simple for you. And we're going to incorporate the red ribbon that comes with this. It's the Real Red double stitch satin ribbon. Look how gorgeous that is. We do have a paper share you can grab, so make sure you check out that on my blog or contact me to get yours sent to you right away. Every paper has this gorgeous red shiny foil. Not every paper. There's a couple that don't, but like 80% of it do. So we're going to create this really simply with the Whisper White cardstock, Real Red cardstock, and this designer series. Okay, so you've had fun creating with this really pretty card for celebration. Now we're going to go ahead and create for Valentine's Day. Now this comes with our Heartfelt Duo punches. So you can see the 2 punches here, they're designed for layering. What I'm going to do is take the larger one here, and I'm going to punch a heart out of our Sparkle Glimmer paper. 1. Then we're going to punch out of the Real Red cardstock that's right here. Tuck in as far as you can and punch. 2. Then we're going to layer the 2. And then we're going to take and punch. Right here, you will have punched out for you a really pretty heart off of the heart paper here, using the smaller heart. So let me go in and trim here what I was working on. If you saw the cards that we've designed, oh my goodness, they're so freaking pretty. And during celebration, you will receive a bonus card from celebration for each month. It's so great. So 1 and 2. I love the foil accent. This reminds me of like a Scandinavian vintage kind of gig. I think that's why I don't mind that very much. So let's go ahead and using dimensionals. My daughter said, "Mom, you're talking really fast." If I'm talking really fast, I'm so sorry. I get excited about the new stuff as well as what we're carrying over. If you haven't seen the sale on What's Retiring, you make sure you check that out though. Now layer the 2 pieces. Just like this. And make sure you get in on our classes. As soon as they are open, we will be maxing them out so we can get them ordered immediately when the new catalog goes live. And each order will include 1 free celebration item. So make sure you grab that. And so, see, I kind of cut that little funky right there. You will have these punched and ready for you. Now, let's just put this together. I am going to use dimensionals quite a bit on this project here. So go ahead and fold, bone, and impress with your bone folder. And then we're going to use dimensionals on each layer here. I really want some Gucci cushion. This reminds me of something fun, like the layers add extra oomph. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully. Sometimes my kids are over there and they're answering me and I can hear them whispering. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. And I have in my head that we're having a whole conversation right now, you and I. If not, you'll have to laugh and tell me what you do want to talk about on our Getting Crafty virtual classes. And I'm telling you, when you see partnering up with my friend Pam has me gaga. The projects we've got designed for you guys are phenomenal. And you'll get to have creations from 2 leaders within Stampin' Up. Boop. Okie doke. So place this like so, like so, like so. All right, so then we have 2 little hearts, right? We're gonna put them on dimensionals as well. Did you notice how high this is starting to get? We've got layer upon layer of dimensional. One. And it's killing me not to stamp a word or a greeting or die cut some more words on this. But these are just bonuses. These aren't gonna be the wow cards that you'll have. They're still super pretty. And then 2, this reminds me of like the vintagey Valentine's Day. Now using this beautiful ribbon, just go ahead and tie a knot. I will have sent to you a few inches. You want to tie a little juicy knot like so. I have one pair of my ribbon scissors. These are my snips, and they have ribbon from the year before that's on there so that people know not to touch it. This is like my grandma's gig, right? She used to do that. And then fluff your ribbon to be exactly the way you want. Take a dimension or a glue dot. Oh, shh, my youngest just commented. And then place a little ribbon knot on the inside of each card like so. Then you are all set. You can sachet the ribbon. You can play with the extra I probably sent to you. You're welcome. I'm generous like that. Okay. Dot and glue dot. My daughter's telling me. She's the next generation of stamper. And then you end up with a really simple and cute Valentine's Day card. That's a sampler for our upcoming Heart card class that will be announced in December and booking through January. Thanks for joining us virtually for the Getting Crafty class. Let me turn around here. Don't you love a bonus class? I do too. So hopefully you're wanting to create with this upcoming classes and join my friend Pam and I for our partnership as we're going to be taking our Getting Crafty virtual classes to the next level. And each card will have a fun fold, a wow element that easily you can do. Don't miss out because these will be in limited quantities. Join us. You can find out more information on my blog. And since you're probably on my mailing list, make sure you look forward for that email and get your spot saved first. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Mwah! Bye.